On the topic of electric vehicles, ever wondered where these materials for EV batteries come from? Well, EV batteries are made from critical minerals or rare earth minerals. Often, these minerals are sourced from countries that employ forced labor in the process of mining these minerals. We talked to Congressman Pete Stauber about this. He's on the House Committee on Natural Resources. Such a pleasure having you, Congressman. Now, I understand you're the chairman of the Subcommittee on Energy and Mineral Resources, and that's what I would like to talk to you about. But first, would you mind explaining very briefly, what is the focus of this committee?
Well, right now, obviously, Energy and Minerals Resources Subcommittee, we have jurisdiction over both on and offshore oil and gas drilling and mining and critical minerals in the United States, the oversight of that. And really, the primary focus is going to be on permitting reform.
Reform, right. And you introduced recently, last month, the bill Permitting for Mining Needs Act. What prompted this?
Well, we're seeing the fact that permits take, years and years. One permit in the state of Minnesota, for example, they're in their 20th year of permitting for mining of critical minerals. The other mine is in its 10th year. And so we know that the permitting reform needs to happen. We're hearing that from the industry experts, the union leaders. We need to be able to mine in the United States. And I'll give you an example. In the same watershed that President Biden banned mining in Minnesota, in the same watershed in the country of Canada, they opened up a gold mine and are mining gold within 3 years, same watershed. So we can do that here in the United States. And my Permit for Mining Needs Act will just do that. It will help with the mining reform.
And this permit being dragged out, permitting for mining needs, what was the impact of that?
Well, we're seeing the impact right now. We're seeing this administration and this president sign memorandums of understanding with the Congo to mine critical minerals that we use in the United States every day. Keep in mind that the Congo employs 40 to 50,000 children, and they mine the cobalt, for example, with child slave labor. And this administration wanting to go green, they just turn a blind eye to that. We think it's immoral and unethical that you use child slave labor to mine critical minerals that we can do right here in the United States of America with the best environmental standards and the best labor standards. We have the biggest copper nickel find in the world in northern Minnesota, and Joe Biden banned mining.
And I want to talk about that a little bit, but first, I wonder why are these permits taking so long? What's causing this?
Well, I think the bureaucracy within the federal government, and of course, ideologically opposed to mining in the United States of America. We do it better and cleaner than anyone, and this administration, in order to satisfy their radical, far left, anti-jobs, anti-mining folks, they're putting this bad legislation and putting these bad rules forward, which is negatively affecting our communities, not only in northern Minnesota, but mining across the United States of America. We are blessed with a vast amount of natural resources, and Joe Biden refuses to allow the American worker and the American miner to mine these critical minerals.
And on Biden's banning of mining in parts of Minnesota, the administration cited issues such as the environment and indigenous communities. Can you explain your view a little bit more?
First off, this administration never went through an environmental impact statement, which is the highest scrutiny the government can give any project. They never allowed an environmental impact statement, to go forward for political reasons. They didn't follow the truth, they didn't follow the facts, and they didn't follow the science. They followed the political winds of the anti-jobs, anti-mining groups. What you're referring to is the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness, which was established in the late 70s. There is never going to be mining in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness, and there will never be mining in the unique buffer zone around it. But outside those zones, do not take our livelihood away, which is timber harvesting and mining, and that's exactly what this administration is doing, reference mining. This administration, for purely political reasons, banned mining in northeastern Minnesota, the biggest copper nickel find in the world. They did not allow the process to move forward.
On this topic of critical minerals, it's not just about getting it, because we can get it as of now one way or another. It's about getting it without human rights violations. Isn't that right?
We talk about responsibly sourcing these minerals. And I've sent letters to Joe Biden and this administration. The United States of America should not buy 1 ounce of critical minerals mined by child slave labor. They turn a blind eye to it in order to meet their green demands in our country. It's simply, as I said, immoral, unethical, and it's wrong to allow child slave labor to mine these critical minerals. And it's wrong for the United States to enter into a memorandum of understanding with adversarial nations that employ child slave labor.
Because it's cheaper to import it than to mine it here in the U.S.
Well, I think that I'm not sure I agree with that. I think that if you look at the human rights violations and the how they mine, they don't have environmental standards. They don't have labor standards. It's actually better to do it in the United States of America with the best environmental standards, best labor standards. We can show the world how it's done right.
And Congressman, this leads to an important question. Does the U.S. have the resources?
Absolutely. We have to have the political will to mine these critical minerals. And again, not only in the United States and on Minnesota's Iron Range, which has the biggest, as I said, copper nickel deposit in the world, 95% of our nickel, 88% of our cobalt, and over a third of our copper and other platinum group elements we have right here in Minnesota. In other states, we have critical minerals that need to be mined. But you have to have the political will, and you have to have permitting reforms so we can mine these critical minerals in a timely fashion and meeting all the standards that we require in the United States.
And I wonder, what are businesses telling you, Congressman?
I can tell you the mining ban that Joe Biden put on in northern Minnesota, we are furious. Beyond furious for what he did. We say mining is our way of life. It's our past, our present, and our future. We say our future is bright, but with political decisions like Joe Biden made a week and a half, 2 weeks ago now, simply unacceptable. We have mineral royalties from our mining goes to our schools. Every school district in the state of Minnesota is positively affected by mining. And this administration has been devastating in their decision to ban mining in northeastern Minnesota.
And you've touched a bit on this earlier. Can you just expand a little bit? What have you done to help with this whole topic?
So right now we're going on programs such as this. We're exposing this administration. We're exposing the hypocrisy of this administration. You know, in October of 2020, Joe Biden told the American people when he was running for president that he wants to mine these critical minerals domestically. He's sworn in as president. Shortly thereafter, he says, no, we're not going to mine these critical minerals domestically anymore. We're going to go overseas and use adversarial nations and buy the critical minerals from adversarial nations that hold the dependency of our country in the palm of their hand. For strategic national security reasons, we cannot allow this administration to continue with their anti-mining, anti-critical mineral stance that they currently have.
And quickly, just one last thing. Is there anything regular folks can do?
Absolutely. You can call your senators or representatives and support these reforms that are coming forward. Support the permitting reforms so we can mine these minerals here and lead the nation. We're going to need so many more of these minerals as we progress as a society and as a world. So I say, write your senators and representatives and tell them we need to mine in the United States of America with American workers, American technology.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Congressman Pete Stauber. Pleasure having you on.
Thank you very much.